Good evening, everyone. This is Barbie Decker. Welcome to our special event team call, our Empire team call. It is Monday. I think it's September 28th. I don't remember. I'm so excited about tonight's call. We had 13 minutes of hell with technical difficulties, but I'm always so excited when we have technical difficulties because it's truly when we come together as a team. And so all the diamonds were back there trying to install the AnyMeeting app, even though we just used it for a team call that we did. Actually, it was last week. It was not yesterday. And everything was fine, but then all of a sudden we were all having technical problems and everyone was trying to install AnyMeeting at the same time. But we are on and on fire. All right, let's get started, you guys. We're going to go quickly with the recognition. I'm just going to flash this report instead of reading all the names this week. We want to congratulate all the top producers and the top sponsors. There are 16,400, whoa, a typo, 420 members on the team. That is awesome. I know we're going to reach 20,000 soon. All right, one small announcement, which is actually a big announcement. You guys, if you're not registered for the Fall Classic, you need to do it today. You have 2 more days. You have the 28th, 29th, and the 30th to register. It's kind of like the Team Cup Challenge, but only with a partner. So it's not groups of 5. You actually have a partner, and you get 1 point for every Success Club point that you get. Nothing will grow, well, that's not true, but growing your business is going to be made so much easier with the Fall Classic. So register. They're super cool prizes. You have an opportunity to bond with your partner and just to have some fun and grow your business. All right, you guys. So here she is. This is a special night for us. We have the honor of having AnyMeeting on our team. I hope I said your name right. She's so beautiful inside and out. I met her officially in person at the leadership event 2 weeks ago, and she's such a giving soul, so generous, just a super awesome woman. I also met her unofficially on The Wall, which is a group that we have on Facebook for 5-star diamonds and above in the Team Beachbody network. And the reason I say that she's so generous is because she's always sharing of herself, her best practices, and these are the kinds of people that we need in our lives and in the network. So AnyMeeting is a 10-star diamond coach. She will tell you herself, I don't know how long she's been a coach, but it hasn't been forever. My point is that she has grown fast. She's a 10-star diamond coach. She's a Success Club legend. And this year, she is right now number 4 for the elite top 10. So I know you will be in the top 10. Dang, girl. So what are you doing to get those results? Tonight, she's going to share her story with us. And I know that she's going to give us some golden nuggets on how she's doing it, how she got to diamond, how she's having the success that she's having. So with that, hopefully we're going to have a smooth transition. Anita, are you on? Anita? It says you're unmuted. You should go ahead and be able to speak. Yep, you're unmuted. Oh no, she's speaking. Goodness gracious. We can't hear you, Anita. Okay, hold on. She's gonna get her hubby, who's an AV guy. But seriously, so she's gonna go ask hubby. So you do your thing, Anita. We're gonna figure this out. In the meantime, oh, I think I can hear you. Go ahead. I'm gonna mute myself. Okay, so nope. So she's trying to figure it out. I think I am going to check my email to see if perhaps I also emailed her the call-in information to see if maybe she can call in. Yeah, there is the call-in information in there. Gotta love this. All right, so Anita, where are you? You guys, for you prayer warriors, this is when we're asking you to say a little prayer because Anita has a message that she has to give us tonight. Come on, Anita, we know you're going to come on. Come on, is that her? Is that her? Hold on, I'm going to go ahead and, I was looking for the conference number. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat box in case maybe she can call in instead. Yeah, she's going to call in. So Stacy, let's see if maybe you can, you should be able to unmute yourself, Anita. I'm glad, you guys, we have a pretty picture to look at in the meantime. So Anita's number 616. Isn't this exciting? This adds so much more excitement to our team calls. We should have technical difficulties every week. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. But it does add excitement, right? Now we're really excited. We've got a lot of people on the call. I'm sure we lost lots of people who were thinking that maybe the call was canceled. Okay, you're about to be unmuted. The excitement. So Anita, once you go on, I'm just going to be quiet because I don't know if we can talk at the same time. Is everyone else hanging in there? So, okay, Anita, you're unmuted. Try to speak. So you guys can hear me. We are, yeah, awesome. Hello. We love husbands, you know, they're awesome. So, okay, for you guys who are calling in and have no idea what's going on, we have a super duper special guest. Her name is Anita Myron, and she's a 10-star Diamond coach. I cannot speak. And she's a special guest, but we're having major technical difficulties. And her hubby is, ooh, I think it's going to work. I think it's going to work. Yes, promote her to presenter. Go ahead, do it. No. Any lip readers? Okay. Maybe I'm going to mute myself. Aw, I'm not even sad. It's just like, it's all this excitement, right? Like, seriously, our day has been like, okay, guys, help me think. So, if I use my phone, but I'm not on this thing, hold on, I have an idea. Everyone's muted to make calls. That goes, listen, only presenters can unmute. Okay, Stacy, I have an idea. Stacy, go ahead and take the control back. And right now the meeting is in Q&A mode. And if you put it in discussion, if you put it in listen only mode, it says that only presenters can unmute. So can you actually give Anita the presenter role? Did we try that?
Hey, Barbie, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Barbie? Discussion mode. Hello. Discussion mode. Barbie, can you hear me?
Wait, you took it away.
I didn't. There you are. We can hear you.
Oh, hi.
Hey, Anita, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, cool. Awesome. Well, we can take me off cam, or we can keep me on cam. Okay, bye guys. Thank you. I've got my whole family here. Okay, so you guys are like, gosh, this chick's story better be rocking because we waited so long. Okay. So I'm going to take myself off of cam. I think that's going to be best because I feel weird. Already heard you making fun, so I know it. Okay. No, I'll stay on cam. I'm just going to put my phone down here. Better plug it in, though. I have 10% left. Okay, there's an echo. Shoot. Is there an echo? I have headphones. Okay, let me see my headphones. One second. Okay, how about now? Is there an echo now? Good. Okay, awesome. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for having me on tonight. This is really cool. First of all, I've been a coach for 2 years. Actually, 2 years and 3 months. And when I got started, I looked up best practices on YouTube and best coaches to follow, as most of you guys should. And who do you think came across my screen? Barbie Decker. And I started following her and taking notes from her YouTube videos, and I was just so inspired by her energy and how articulate she was. And I'm actually shaking because it's a big deal to me to have been asked to speak. And then when I got on and I saw 16,000 coaches, and then I noticed that the team was called Empire. No, I'm sorry. Yeah. And I actually named my team the Inspire Empire. I had no idea your team was called the Empire. So I think that this is perfect. And so I modeled a lot of my business practices off of what I learned from YouTube. And then I saw the list of names on the people that you guys for the top producers, and I was like, oh my gosh, these are the people I've been following forever. And so it's just really cool. So I'm completely honored to be asked to speak, and I really hope that you guys take away some nuggets from what I have to say. And I consider myself a baby coach. I am I consider myself to be very new. And it's been 2 years and 4 months, but that's like a blink compared to the, what's got me here, the life I've lived, life, it's a blink. And so I still feel like I'm catching up to so many amazing things that have happened in my life because of Team Beachbody. But yeah, it's just been incredible. So I'm going to try and give you guys the nutshell version of what I've prepared because it's already 8. I don't want you guys to be sitting on here for forever. But before I go into my story, I want to preface something for you guys. The comparison game is very, very easy to fall into. And if you've been a coach for a while, you know what I'm talking about. So when you hear my story, try not to compare yourself, but rather find best practices, find ways to become inspired. But try not to compare, because when I used to get on these calls as a brand new coach, I would sit and I would compare myself, and I would actually tear myself apart. And so I want you guys to really remember that before I get started, that you guys are all in your own life circumstances. You guys have your own life behind you and ahead of you. And every life that you come in contact with should be used as motivation, inspiration, not as a point of knocking yourself down or wondering why you aren't where you're supposed to be or where you want to be or where somebody else is. So with that being said, I will share with you my journey. As a coach, I've been, like I said, I've been a coach for 2 years and 4 months. When I signed up, I was 210 pounds. I was depressed. I had hurt knees from my weight on my joints. My back hurt. I had no idea what I was supposed to do about myself, to be honest. I had a new baby. I was in a very, very high-paced, high-energy job that exhausted me, that took me away from my daughter, 70 hours a week. But really the success of my business at this point does not stem from the desire and want at that particular point in my life. It stems from all the way back from my childhood. Growing up, my dad fell sick to schizophrenia and bipolar syndrome, and my mom quickly became a single mom. And I was told all of my life that I could be and do whatever I want, and my family shared their dreams with me constantly, but they never, ever reached for them and never, ever accomplished what their dreams were. My mom is an amazing woman, and so was my dad, but I quickly saw my dad lose so much of his dreams when he became more and more sick. And this is a man I loved very, very much. And so my parents and my mom and I, we went from 2 parents to 1. She was a single mom by the time I was 6. And we had nothing. We grew up on nothing. We had enough to get by and a lot of dreams. My mom and I would dream together all the time. And I was inspired by my mom, but I never watched my mom make anything of her dreams. And I always said to myself, one day I will have a life of purpose and a life of drive and to accomplish something big. And so I quickly fell into depression and anxiety at a young age. By the time I was in high school, I developed issues with an eating disorder. I developed issues with alcoholism because of the circumstances of my parents. And there's a reason I'm telling you this, guys, because when you are pushing for something like this business, it's very difficult to remember why you're pushing. So we'll come full circle in a minute, but I'm kind of rushing. I'm sorry, but yeah. So I was depressed. I was anxious, and I got taken away from the dreams that my mom and I had together because I got caught up in high school life and drinking and numerous other things. I got to college by the fact that I worked my butt off knowing that only grades were going to get me to where I wanted to be. I knew that much. I knew that if I worked hard in school, I could get somewhere. So I got to high school or not high school, college. I got to college and I developed an even bigger drinking problem. And I actually became a nightclub DJ, oddly enough. The people I ran with asked me to start doing nightclub DJing. And I loved music at the time. I had a fake ID at 16. I was running with the worst of them in high school. I have this in my mouth. And this is probably best that I have the video up. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's a tattoo in my mouth, amongst other tattoos I have that I'm not proud of. But it says house. I was really into house music. And I use it as an escape, a healthy escape. I actually use the dreaming and the type of personality I have. You know, I'm very motivated. I'm very driven to climb the ranks in DJing and to make a name for myself in DJing. And it distracted me from something that I felt deep down that I wanted to do, but I wasn't going after it. So I was up till 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 4 nights a week, drinking like crazy. I would drink an entire bottle of red wine before getting into my car and driving to a gig. My parents could not help me through college, by the way, so I had to work a lot. So not only was I studying for school, I was working in a restaurant, bartending and DJing till 4 a.m. I was exhausted and depressed because I knew I had more. I had more of a purpose in life, and I just couldn't find it. I didn't know what I wanted to do with myself. Like I said, my parents were so, I guess you can say, poor. We didn't have much, that every time I wanted to do something or go after a dream or go after a hobby or find myself, we just couldn't afford it. I had to work and I had to go to school. So I met my husband in the nightclub that I worked at, and he had this aura around him, this light, and it shined so bright. And I knew right then and there, I was like, wow, I need to know that guy. There's something drawing me to him. I need to know him. So I approached him at the bar, and we started talking, and we hit it off. We exchanged numbers, and we just started to hang out. I quickly pulled him into my lifestyle, and he hated it. He was in love with me, but he didn't like the life I was living. We were out till 4 a.m. I was bringing him down a very dark path. We were drinking like crazy, and then this guy that has never touched drugs in his life was being motivated and was being pushed to use, and by people I ran with and by myself. And he finally said to me, listen, this is not the life you keep telling me you want for yourself. You have these dreams that you keep telling me you have, but this is not taking you where you want to go. This is not a healthy lifestyle whatsoever. We need to stop. And I learned through our relationship that he was a Christian, and he wanted me to go to church. And so somebody that is not a Christian or has no background with faith immediately will push you away. And I did. I broke up with him. And he was the light in my life. And I continued to do what I was doing, and I was doing it harder. I was doing it more because I was so like, what? Like, who? I don't need this guy in my life. And I was tragically heartbroken because I thought he was a lunatic for suggesting those things to me. So I called my mom and told her I was going to commit suicide at the age of 22. I was laying in bed, and I was in bed for 2 days. And I called my mom and I said, please come get me. And I actually called a suicide hotline, and the guy was horrible. He wasn't helping me at all. And then my mom came rushing over, and she brought me home. And Eric showed up at my house with cupcakes. And he slept by my bed for 2 days. And when I woke up, he was there, He wasn't my boyfriend. He was just my friend. And he said, I'm here for you. And he showed me right then and there what God was, because I saw it in his face. I saw it in his heart. And a man that will sit with somebody he barely knows, who brought him down a really rough path, to sit next to you like that. And to sacrifice 2 days of his awesome life at he was 21 years old. Can you believe that? He could be out running with his friends doing amazing things, like, what 21-year-olds can be doing. But yet he sat with this depressed person. So I told him I needed more space. I said, I appreciate you being here with me, but I need to find myself. So I did something that was crazy, and I went to church. And if you're not a person of faith and you don't believe in God and you're not a Christian, you may find your faith and your belief in your positivity elsewhere. But I found mine with God. I broke down in church and I cried so hard I almost threw up. And there was an altar call, and I went, and my life was changed. My mom actually came with me, and my mom was not a Christian. She was raised Buddhist, so she thought what I was doing was crazy too. But she went along with it, and she went up on the altar call with me, and we were both saved that day. And my mom actually is now a Christian, and she's just one of the most amazing women of faith. But so I worked on myself. I got sober. Went to church 2 times a week, because that's how I found my way of getting sober, was just getting lost in my new church. And I called Eric back, and I said, I love you. What you did for me showed me right there what a good man is. At 21, I was very nervous, because he was obviously very young, and I was like pretty nervous about that, but I was like, okay, let's continue to date. So we dated, and in no short time we were engaged, and we moved to Grand Rapids, Michigan. I went from nightlife to day life very fast. And through that transition of getting sober and leaving the nightlife, by the way, then I worked full time in clubs for 5 years. So going from that to working in a bank, by the way, that was my first job up here in Michigan, I put on some serious weight. I was eating in place of drinking. And my lifestyle changed, but the drinking crept back in. And we didn't find a church here. And I was very lost. And I got consumed in eating and drinking again. And I gained 30 pounds. And then we were married. And then I was pregnant. And I couldn't drink anymore. And the pregnancy was not planned, but it was miraculous, and I'm very happy for it. But it wasn't planned, and I wasn't ready for it. At this point, while I was in the middle of my pregnancy, I had got a new job in marketing and sales, which was my background in college. And I was working about 60 to 70 hours a week. And I knew that needed to change if I was having a baby, but I got so lost and consumed in my job that I stopped taking care of myself even further. I had a new lifestyle, but I was drinking heavier all of a sudden. I was eating heavier, and stopped the drinking. But guess what replaced the drinking? More eating. And we lived in my in-laws' basement, and we were in massive debt. So the depression was creeping back in. So when I had my daughter, I wish I could show you a picture, guys, but I was 210 pounds. I moved to Michigan at 130 pounds. And when I had my daughter, which I call this the best thing in the world that could ever have happened to me, was having my daughter, because I was faced with 3 months of maternity leave. Nursing her, I couldn't drink. I couldn't smoke. I also couldn't go back to work, so I had to face myself. I had to sit dead in the mirror, stare at myself while my daughter was sleeping all day. And I had nothing. I had nothing to do. My husband was at work, working endless hours, and he was a wedding photographer, and he was doing life insurance. And I had a lot of time on my hands, and I was like, okay, wow, what happened to you, girlfriend? Whoa, you put on, what, like 70, 80 pounds? And it happened so fast. I had no idea it was even happening at the rate it was happening. And I mean, I was eating buckets of Ben and Jerry's on the couch. I told my husband, oh, I deserve it. I'm not drinking anymore. So it was just another bad habit replacing an old bad habit. So, by the way, guys, this is like a total, much more detailed version of what I gave on the National Wake Up Call, because I was told I couldn't go into a lot more detail than that because it was so long. But you're getting the full picture here. So I saw my coach, Leslie Cordes, and she had lost 55 pounds, and she was the most positive human being on Facebook. I blocked so many people but her. Like, she was my priority. I woke up in the morning and read her post. So I was like, this chick has it together. She's happy. She's motivated. She's working her butt off, and she lost 55 pounds. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but she's a 11-star diamond, and she's my upline sponsor. And she's really cool. But she helped me. She showed me Chalene Extreme and Shakeology, and I started to lose weight like crazy, and I started to feel better. And slowly but surely, I didn't want to drink anymore. And slowly but surely, I didn't want to eat that crap food anymore. And slowly but surely, I had energy again. And slowly but surely, I started to find my purpose that I had been dreaming about my whole life. I know that seems a little crazy, but Beachbody being somebody's purpose, at first I thought that was insane, but then I was like, this is an incredible opportunity. And guys, my point of sharing this story with you is this is an incredible opportunity. If you have not already realized that, you need to. What we have at our fingertips, if you don't utilize it, if you don't get behind it, if you truly are inspired by this business and you truly want to make this into a real business and make it change your life, you can make it do anything for you. You can really change your life. And at first, I didn't believe that. At first, I had work to do on myself. I had to fix myself first and get my habits down. And so for the first 5 months of being a coach, it was just about me. It was just about me getting the weight off. It was just about me getting happy and healthy and there for my daughter and getting my energy levels back, being a better wife for my husband. He had given me so much. He'd been there through so much for me. And I owed it to him. I owed it to her. So the weight started to come off. And naturally, I started to share that with people on social media. And I did not see at that point in time that that was really my purpose, but it started to feel like it. Like, these people are messaging me on my posts about my weight loss journey. They're asking me for support, and I was so fulfilled. Because I had my daughter, because I had 3 months to stare at myself and figure out, just to notice what had happened to me and to reflect and to just sort of not be hustling at jobs. And I had a clear mind, and suddenly I found my purpose. And so I worked Beachbody as a hobby because I knew I was going back to my job, and that's what paid the bills. I was making $70,000, and that was the bulk of our income. So I knew I had to go back. But by the time I had to go back, I was just like, I freaking love Beachbody. This is so cool. This is amazing. And I'd already told all my friends and family about it. I already had about 10 coaches. I was like, this is badass. So, but we decided I had to go back to work and right back into the 70 hours a week. My daughter went to bed at 7 p.m. and got up at 7 a.m. I went to work at 6 a.m. and got home at 8. So my why, it grew. And guys, this is so important for you to know. You have to know your why, and you got to be very clear on it, and you have to breathe it. You have to eat, sleep, drink your why if you're going to endure building a successful business on your own without somebody there to hold your hand every step of the way. So I got back to work and I was like, yeah, gosh, this is miserable. I was sitting in the parking lot of Walgreens watching people walk out in tears because I wanted to be that mom walking out with my kiddo. And so I got home. I told my husband in tears, I have to make Beachbody work. This has to happen for me. And I think I've found my purpose. My job does not fulfill me. Beachbody fulfills me. So it has to happen. And he was like, okay, you got it. You have to do this. You have to make this work for you. And he's like, I give you 3 months. Because guess what? And guys, I want you to hear this because I was never told this when I got started. Beachbody coaches, some of the top coaches, do make it look pretty darn easy. But I want you to hear the reality behind where I am right now. He gave me 3 months because he knew that there was no date night. There was no weekends out. There was no night on the couch watching movies. There was no family time. There was no holidays. There was no me for him for 3 months, and he knew it. And he gave me that time. And I forever thank him. He's such a good man because in 3 months I matched my income at my job. And I got the heck out of there. And I got home to my daughter. And when I got there, I was between a rock and a hard place. Because we all know that it is very easy to let things go when you get comfortable, right? So I was making my income. And okay, I'm comfy. I'm home with my daughter. My husband's got a decent job. I'm comfy. But then I saw him and I was like, dude, you don't look happy, and I'm happy. That's not fair. You've been there for me. You've done so much for me since day one. I have to make this decision stick. I can't come home and not, because rock in a hard place. My rock was going back to that damn job. My hard place was going to be homeless. Okay? So at that point when I left my job, I was number 33 in the company. That's how quick I grew. Because I had to. He gave me 3 months. And I had to, and if you were around back then, I was listed as top recruiter, top challenge pack sales constantly. Guys, that was me up until 3 a.m., getting up at 7 a.m., sitting on the toilet texting people, sitting on the bathroom floor at work, sneaking out at lunch, sitting in my car. It was hours and relentless days of blood, sweat, and tears. Every time you heard a name, like, hey, Anita Meyer and top recruiter, Anita Meyer and top challenge pack sales, that was me making hard sacrifices. Okay, so got home, and I was like, all right, I got to make this stick. So I got to take my hubby home from work too. And so, because like I said, rock in a hard place. If I don't keep growing, it's too easy to slip back. For me, it was like, I either need to push or I need to go back to work. And I owe it to everyone in my family to keep pushing because look at this opportunity. I proved it to myself. I proved it to everybody in my family. So I need to take it to the top. I need to keep going. I owe it to them. So within 4 or 5 months, I matched my husband's income. He was actually about to be let go from his job. And we actually found out that people were canceling on him for weddings. We were going to lose his income no matter what. We just found that out right before I had made it happen, which was crazy. It was like God was telling me something like, you've got to do this or else you're going to be in big trouble. So again, just because I was home with my daughter and I wasn't having to work, you better believe all those same sacrifices took place. There was no girls' day out. There was no mom's group. There was no lunches out. There was no date nights even then, because I told my husband, listen, I'm going to take you home too. I'm going to replace your income. I'm going to make this happen. And he believed in me, and I had to believe in myself. So I did it. I replaced him, and I replaced myself, and then he left, and then we were both like, we got to make this stick. By that time, I was number 13 in the company. And I said, okay, babe, if you come home, let's just take this. Let's just see what happens. Let's just do this together. Best decision we ever made. He came home. We started date night again. We started going out on the weekends. We started paying down debt. And my income just started to grow and grow. And we together tackled our big purpose, which was helping people. I keep talking about my drive and my motivation to keep going, but let me just tell you that the core foundation of what I was doing, when I was having conversations with my potential challengers and conversating with my challengers and coaches, my heart was there. And I loved every second of helping them. And I wanted my husband to experience that too. So when he came home, he got on board. We started working our business together and brought our team within 1 month from number 10 to 4 in the company. Because we had to. I didn't care to be number 4. I didn't care to be 15-star, 10-star, what have you. I cared to make my decisions stick, to make my leaps of faith stick. I also have never felt so much purpose with something in my entire life. There's nothing out there, guys, that can bring you so much fulfillment like this. Really, and then give you the type of freedom that you're looking for. So now what we do full time from 9 to 5 is listen to our challengers tell us that they are experiencing success. They are losing weight. Their families are getting healthy. I'm hearing from coaches on my team that they are paying down debt, that they can leave their jobs, that they get to have their husbands stay home with them eventually. You have to believe in this business. You have to believe in yourself. That's where all of this started, was belief. Just taking that leap of faith. It's very scary. It's very big. But you have to, if you want to make this work, have a core belief in Beachbody, have a core belief in yourself. Because you have to. I mean, if you want to make it work, you have to believe. So what changed from the time I went back to work? I'm like sweating here. Whew. I think this is the second time I've ever told my full story. My team has heard it, but second time. So I'm like sweating bullets. So what changed was consistency. I got real consistent. I treated this business like I treated my full-time job. While I was working my full-time job, I took the same principle, the same discipline, and I showed up to my business every day. I pretended like my boss was sitting there with me in my office at home watching me. I pretended like Carl Deichler was in the office next to me waiting for me to show up. I pretended like if I didn't show up, we would be homeless, just like a real job, just like just if you were to own a restaurant, just like if you were to have a corporate job. You have to treat it like that. You have to show up to your desk every day with that commitment and discipline, because nobody else is going to do it for you. Nobody else is going to show up for you and help you get creative and help you make decisions like that. Nobody but yourself. So you have to do the things that will motivate you, that will inspire you. Put your reasons and your why right in front of your face every single day. But you have to be serious and disciplined for this to take off for you. And I'm sure Barbie was disciplined from the get-go and has the same visions for herself and for her life. So I'm still on my journey, guys. What I just told you about me taking home my husband and coming home from my job happened back in December and January. So this is a very new story for me to be sharing, but I think it's important for everybody to hear that it's not flowers and roses to the top. There was sacrifices made. And you may not want to go to the top. That may not be your desire. You may want to just make right at six figures. You just may want to make 50,000 or 20,000 or just some extra side money. And that's great. That's awesome. But for those of you who have a vision of really making, your dreams come true, like giving back, giving more to your community, donating money, building a beautiful house for your family, that sort of thing, then you have to know that it's not easy and it's going to take sacrifice and hard work. And then also support from everyone around you. And then you get to a point, like Barbie just said, that you don't have to work like a dog forever. Because that only took me 2 years, and my husband and I make well over six figures. And now we don't have to work like that anymore. And now we work 5 hours a day each. We spend a lot of time with our daughter. We spend more time with our kiddo than anyone we know. We are equal parents. We take her out every night to do something fun. And she gets to go to a learning center full time where she's doing advanced learning. She's doing dance lessons. And so, yeah, you have to make that sacrifice up front to get what you want in the future. And so now it's paying off. Just know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's totally worth it. So, quick, I will tell you the things that I did. Consistency, business activity tracker every single day. Never miss a day. Even if you're sick in bed, get on it. Even if you have a football game to attend, do your BAT. Always develop yourself with the 3 vital behaviors. I am a walking, talking 3 vital behavior. I'm like a 3 vital behavior blown up. You've got to get very serious about the 3 vital behaviors if you want to inspire people, if you want to attract people to your business, and if you want to change your own life. So that's basically it. And my phone is about to die. So should I open it up for questions? I really did rush, and I feel bad. I had seriously, I wrote out so much I was going to say, but then I was like, oh gosh, I don't want to turn off the camera because I want to be real, and I had the opportunity to have the camera on, so I'll just talk on the camera. Yeah, you're welcome, guys. And I say this story because I so wish I heard something like it when I got started, because I seriously looked at the Lindsay Matways and Janelle Summers and all of these rock star, beautiful, amazing coaches, and I was like, wow, they must have just woke up like that. They must have just turned on their computer and bam, it was all given to them. I learned very quickly that that's not the case after I asked them. And I listened to the National Wake Up Call every single week without fail. I learned very quickly that that was not the case. Okay, you can unmute yourself now.
I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, you did so amazing. That was just so beautiful and so from the heart, and just, oh my God, I'm going to cry now. But hearing you talk about your story and growing up poor and having dreams and not seeing your parents fulfill those dreams. And then, I can totally relate to that. And, see, I'm totally in tears. It's so amazing. Your heart is so pure, and I really feel like our team really needed to hear this. And
good.
Yeah, really, this could not have been a better call. And whatever plan you had, this was definitely God's plan. And you're amazing. So, oh my God, my dog is flipping out because he feels my energy. So I want to say, yeah, you're so right about coaches not pretending, but making it seem like it's easy, and I remember those days, when I did go for top 10, I went for it. I remember it. My mother was asking me, I was in New York in my mom's house, and she's like, do you eat? Do you get off the computer? It was just nonstop the first 2-3 years. I was obsessed, but then you get to a point where, you don't have to be a slave anymore. The sacrifices are done, and we get to have a normal life, and it was worth it because then, you know, I'm making well into seven figures. I'm making seven figures now, and I really am pouring my freaking heart into this business to helping develop our team, our leaders, and those days of not sleeping, of like texting in the toilet, well, I still probably do that, but you know, they're past. So it's so wonderful to hear too, just what you're doing with your team. And I stalk you now and I see people thanking you left and right, you know, and I'm like, wow, that must feel so good for you to see just so much gratitude being poured onto you.
Yeah, it's really cool. And yeah, I always tell my coaches that story, like, I fought so hard, but now it's like, we have freedom and we're living like nobody else. Our family doesn't get it. They're like, you're going where again? You're going to Puerto Rico again? I'm like, yeah. What? You can do that? I'm like, yeah, I killed myself for 2 years. Now I can.
Yeah. And now you get to
But
help
it's
other
worth it.
people. Totally.
Yes. Yeah.
So
And nothing inspires you like having parents that didn't reach what they wanted, because now I feel like I have to, because they didn't get to. So.
Right. No, I get it. And you had another choice. The other choice that which I do see on our team is, woe is me. Like, this is my past, you know, and this is my story. And you said, I'm
Right.
rewriting that story.
Yep.
All right,
Yep.
Anita, we are just so thankful. Seriously, you really, really, really spoke to us tonight. And thank you to Eric. Behind an amazing woman is an amazing hubby who has stuck by your side this whole time, even tonight. Like, that was just a tiny little example of how he came and, you know, helped us and saved the day. So again,
He's
all right,
awesome.
girl, all my love to you. Thank you. And have an amazing
thank you, Barbie.
night.
Yes, thank you.
I officially love you. All right. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.